welcome to today's video where we will be discussing...
Lilo and Stitch.
Yep, so...
I love Lilo and Stitch. Disney has not been this good for a little while. Like, I think with the experimental era, when I knew I'd have to be watching these, I knew that at the very least, bang spat in the middle, there was this lifeline that was Lilo and Stitch.
Yes.
It is everything Atlantis wasn't, because it's so Disney. It's like cute mascot with Stitch, but also it's about the kind of heartwarming stuff that I think Disney should be about. That's a point I forgot to mention about Atlantis. Another reason I didn't like Atlantis is because it didn't have a moral. It kind of did.
Don't kill civilization.
Yeah, but like it wasn't told in a very Disney way. Like that, I felt that there needs to be like a heartwarming centre to it, and like I guess there was if you dig down deep enough. But Lilo and Stitch and the classic Disneys are very like emotional, heartwarming, and that's what Disney is for me.
Yep, so we're back to traditional Disney format. Lilo is an orphan.
Mhm.
Very traditional Disney, who lives with her sister Nani, who cares for her. They go to adopt a dog, and instead they adopt Stitch, who is a wanted fugitive alien. Yeah. It's also an original story, isn't it?
I believe so. I couldn't be sure though. Well, so the actor that voices Stitch, not me, believe it or not, despite my spot-on impression, is Chris Sanders, I think. And he came up with the idea, well, maybe not all the idea, but he started the creative spark that Disney took and made this film.
Yeah.
It would be original, I suppose. The thing with Lilo and Stitch, we could talk about Stitch for hours, so let's start
I love Stitch.
by talking about Lilo, just so she doesn't get lost.
Yeah, I like Lilo.
So, children characters, especially children's of Lilo's age in Disney films, are very, very close to being annoying. For example, you've hated every character in The Rescuers.
You mean like Kenny and Cody?
You know, Emperor's New Groove, the children kind of wound me up a little bit. Like, kind of, they were annoying for the plot reasons, so you forgave them, but still you wouldn't want to spend time with them.
That's fair.
Lilo, interestingly, you like to spend with as much time as Stitch. And while it's not officially canon, I like to believe that she's autistic. I think all the traits are there in terms of how she's isolated by a friend group. She sees like events in a different way, and while you could probably say that probably stems from some PTSD from...
Well, yeah, her parents got killed when she was really young.
I think that the relationship between her and her sister is very much like she's like autistic and her sister's caring for that, but also but if it is autism, I'm not saying it is, Disney don't use it for source of jokes.
No.
And for me, it made Lilo like, in fact, like, because of her autism, she sees the world in a way it needs to be. Like, she sees good in all.
Well, she basically... So, Stitch is created by a guy called Jumbo. He's an experiment, Experiment 626, and he is created for destruction. She teaches this little creature that just wants to destroy everything how to love.
Yeah.
And how to be a good person. Well, creature.
But I wouldn't even say she does... Well, I guess she does teach him to be good, but more than that, because she's open. Like, at the start, Stitch is only hanging around with her because while he's hanging with her, the aliens that come to Earth, can't attack him. Because one of the main running jokes is that Earth is an environmentally protected zone for the aliens. Like, they believe that mosquitoes are endangered.
Yeah.
So, like, kind of, the military, they're trying to kidnap Stitch by doing all-out war, and there's, like, this little nerdy kind of scientist alien that's like, no, Earth's protected, like, under regulation, wild...
I completely forgot that scene, actually, like, when the mosquito lands on him, and he's like, it is a great honour, the grand mosquito has chosen me as her host, and then, like, by the end of the film, he's, like, absolutely covered in mosquito bites.
Yeah, it's, quite fun. But eventually Stitch grows to like Lilo, and I think that's just because Lilo's got this massive...
She accepts him, doesn't she?
But also Nanny as well is probably one of the unsung heroes for Disney for me. Like, I think what's great about Nanny is she's just an ordinary girl, and there's no such thing as like Cinderella, where the ordinary girls get swept up and
Yeah, she doesn't. She grafts, like, she works hard. She just completely is like, I have to take care of my sister now, and that's just the thing that I have to do, and she just gets on with it.
all she wants is like maybe life to back off a little bit, because she's got this social worker on her back, Cobra Bubbles.
Cobra Bubbles, who's the FBI.
Yeah, one of the greatest names Disney have ever come up with. Like, whoever came out of that in the scriptwriter's room, fair play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she loses her job, and their new dog is destroying the house, wall by wall. So she has a tough time of it.
She also, I just want to sidebar slightly and thank Disney for giving us an actual, like, well-proportioned female character. Like, she's not tiny.
Yeah.
She does not have a tiny, tiny waist and look perfect. Like, she chunky, she got boobs, she's, like, a normal person.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Disney.
Yeah, so Nanny, Lilo and Stitch, I think, are three of my favourite Disney characters, all in one neat package. And I like what they bring out in each other.
And there's David as well. David, who just goes with the flow and everything.
Yeah, I like David. What I like is that he's kind of like just to the sides of the plot, but he's there right at the right moments, and like because he sees that, like...
And he likes Nanny, but he's not going to pressure her into anything.
Yeah, he makes a couple of, like, comments, but he's very aware, like... Right.
Like, she doesn't have time for him.
And Nanny's open about that. She's like, you could tell that she likes him, but, like, right now she's got the social worker banging on her door, so it would have been unrealistic for there to be, like, a massive, like... In fact, Nanny would have been a worse character if she was off spending a lot of time with the man.
Yeah.
Like, as much as we're, like, the Renaissance hero, like... females were the ones like fighting back for feminism.
They all still had a prince.
Well, to be fair, that is fighting feminism in their own way, but for me, Nanny is just as important for just being realistic and, like, you know what she does, quite like the boy.
They're human, aren't they? Like, that's the thing with these characters. They're very relatable and very human.
Yeah.
Obviously not Stitch. But...
Yeah, but again, there's human in him. And everything he touches is just comedy.
I relate to Lilo though, so, like, one of my favourite scenes is where, like, the Myrtle, who I'm pretty sure we can all agree we all hate Myrtle, who's the ginger one, the ginger, like, friend of Lilo, who's, like, being really horrible because they, like, don't have dead parents and can afford stuff, and, like, Lilo has, is it Scrunch, the doll that she's, like, made
like that, yeah.
for herself, and she's just like, oh, I have a doll, I can play with you. And then, like, they're like, no. And it's just really horrible. And, like, and then she says something about, like, something to do with, like, how Lilo's parents died. So at the start of the film, Lilo goes to give Pudge, who's the fish god of the sea, like, a sacrifice, a sandwich. And she gets very upset because they only have tuna. And she's like, you can't give Pudge tuna because he's a fish and that would be an abomination. And then, like, Myrtle's basically, like, you're really stupid for doing this. And then Lilo fights them, and then she has to go and apologise. And I'm like, yeah, I love this. And she's like, I'm really sorry that I pulled your hair and punched you in the face and bit you. I'm like, yes, Lilo.
Like, so you've got these three really well-rounded characters, and, like, see, I don't like to put bad points on this film, but I've got to review it fairly, but... the aliens get in the way for me.
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel... I understand why they're there, because it's like, well, we have to have some kind of threat and plot. So there's these aliens chasing them down. But the mad scientist is really not thought out as a character. I mean, he's quite clearly a nasty bloke.
He's the one that comes to Earth, though, isn't he?
Yeah, so there's... four aliens, really. There's, like, the wildlife conservation guy who I like. He's funny, but not as funny as I think Disney thought he was. You've got the scientist who creates Stitch as this weapon of mass destruction for his own personal pleasure. And then at the end, he's kind of a good guy, but I'm like, why? I'm not quite on board with his character.
He still did, like, loads of crimes.
And then there are, like, there's the
Gantu
and the head of the
Empress.
The Empress. They're alright, but again, because they're so thinly written, because the film wants to make time for Lilo and Stitch, I'm like, it's weird. You've got one half of your film is really three-dimensional, well thought out, and heartwarming, and it brings me to tears, to be honest with you. And then you've just got these aliens that are quite thin on the ground.
They explain. So again, this is another one that got various sequels, and they explain the aliens more in the sequel. So there's Stitch 2, Stitch has a glitch. There's Lilo and Stitch 3, and then there's Leroy and Stitch.
Yeah, I refuse to use the sequels to.
Okay, and it also got a TV series as well, where you find Rube. I don't know if Rube's in the first one, but Rube is basically one of the other experiments. He's like a little like yellow version of Stitch.
No, there's a female Stitch as well. They're not.
Oh, Angel.
They're all sequels.
But Rube, I love Rube. He like has exactly the same like powers and intelligence as Stitch, except he just wants to make sandwiches all the time.
Yeah. The thing is though is that there's these thin alien characters, but I actually quite like that they're thin, because like it means there's more time for the human characters, which I care about more.
Yeah, I also like how much it keeps bringing back to the fact that like Stitch is not initially a good character. So like one of my favourite scenes, like Lilo's got like this little playset of a city, it's San Francisco that she's got, and then Stitch is basically there like picking up like cars and stuff.
He creates the city.
Oh, does he
builds
create
the city
it?
out of like books and stuff he finds lying around.
And then goes to destroy it, and it's just great how he's like picking up stuff like, oh no, don't eat me, and then he's like, nah, like destroying all of it.
There's a lot to love. I could list it all day. I love the use of Elvis instead of a music soundtrack. I like certain jokes. I like the recurring quotes, like how Ohana. I like the ugly duckling that circles into it all the time. I like the frog that comes up at the start and the end, which kind of symbolises Stitch's art. It's a very clever film. I could talk about it all day, but really, other than the aliens, I have to just say I like it.
Yeah, I like Lilo and Stitch as well.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah, go for it.
So my fun fact is to do with the you can have a couple more fun facts because I've got to get a theme park fun fact in there as well. Is about the marketing of Lilo and Stitch. So I don't know if any of you viewers remember the marketing for Lilo and Stitch. Please go and search them on YouTube. They are hilarious. But the initial trailers was Stitch hijacking classic Disney movies. So he hijacks Beauty and the Beast, was I think the first one that was released. So you just see like the ballroom scene for Beauty and the Beast, and then it cuts to the ceiling and Stitch is climbing around and then ends up dropping the chandelier on them. It's hilarious. And they do Aladdin, where it's the whole new world sequence and it's all beautiful and romantic, and then it's just Stitch like honking the horn of his spaceship.
What I love about that though, it comes back to the fact that it looks like Stitch is just going to be like a comedy about this blue wacky alien, but it's actually so much more than that. So it brings the kids in for the fun, but keeps them there for the emotion.
Yeah.
It sums up why Lilo and Stitch is such a great film.
It also does Little Mermaid and Lion King as well.
Yeah.
Which I love it. It was really, really clever marketing. And the poster for Lilo and Stitch was something like he got his own movie, and then it had all the Disney characters around the outside, like looking at him like, what is this guy? You can probably find a picture of that. And then in the middle, Stitch. Theme park fun fact. So Stitch is loved. He is a lovable character in the parks. We went to Disneyland Paris and we went to see Stitch live, didn't we?
Yeah, it was aimed for kids, but we were in Disneyland Paris for a little bit too long and we were out of things to do, so I was like, well, I like Stitch, we'll go watch this. He's just there, talking to members in the crowd. Hello!
Everybody! Yeah, and then they like, you've got to help Lilo find Stitch before Gantu finds Stitch, and then he like picks people in the audience because there's someone sat behind a screen doing it, and they can like send the helpers out to people. And there was that guy called Buzz, wasn't there, from Holland? And then Stitch basically like takes a picture of him and puts Buzz on Stitch's wanted poster instead of Stitch, and it's just hilarious. Like, he's a lovable character. Also, there was a experience in Florida called Alien Encounter, where you encountered the alien from Alien. What that was doing in a Disney park, I do not know. However, it got re-themed. This is probably, thank you, Paul Pressler. It's the one time you'll hear me say those words. To the Stitch encounter.
Stitch versus the Xenomorph.
Yeah.
Sounds like something I'd say. There's a sequel.
Apparently it was still equally terrifying though. Like, you go into a dark room, you're strapped into a chair away from people, and then it's like an experience where you just hear it like crawling around you in dark light, like that with the xenomorph, which they let kids go into this, and like all the reviews I read, it's like, you can't really hear the xenomorph over the sound of the children crying.
Yeah, but that's what it's kind of. I take it studios.
No, it's in the Magic Kingdom.
Oh, okay. But
it's literally in like the park with the castle.
If it's studios, it's all about how you create atmosphere. In a
but
film,
no,
right?
it's in Tomorrowland. It was really weird. And then they made it Stitch, and they were like, it's still kind of terrifying.
Cool. Right, this is getting way too long.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's cut to the ratings.
Yes.
I want to give it 10, but because of, like I said, the alien character's quite thin, I'm going to have to knock it down to a 9, but honestly, one of the best ones for me.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Very good. Yeah, it all goes downhill from here. Like, Disney never gets better than this.
Well, it does.
No, it does, but...
In 2009, we get better. This is the true dark age of Disney, everyone, that we're coming into now. It's a long 7 years.
Cool. We'll try and make it a little bit bearable for you. Yeah. So I see you then.
Have a magical rest of your day.